Hello there. Welcome back to Broyhill on Aviation Leadership. It's Friday where I am, and I hope that at least in a figurative sense, it's Friday where you are as well. We're going to explore another leadership trait in this episode in the Leadership Trait series, and this week we're going to look at the attribute of humility. So let's get started. Humility is the act of being humble, and according to Merriam-Webster, being humble means not being proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive, reflecting, expressing, or offered in a spirit of deference or submission, ranking low in hierarchy or scale, insignificant, unpretentious, not costly, or luxurious. But as usual, there's more to it than that. If you've been following this series for a while, you realize that when we get into the deeper dive segments, I go one of two ways with it. Either I expound upon the definition of the trait, or I try to examine or contextualize the trait in a leadership format, or in the way it would appear in a leadership environment. So in this case, I'm going to take the latter route. We're going to look at what humility looks like from a leadership perspective. We have three contributors. The first one is Jeff Hyman, who's a regular contributor to Forbes magazine. He says, humble leaders understand they are not the smartest person in every room, nor do they want to be. Or do they need to be? They encourage people to speak up, respect differences of opinion, and champion the best ideas, regardless of whether they originate from a top executive or a production line employee. When things go wrong, humble leaders admit to their mistakes and take responsibility. When things go right, they shine the spotlight on others. Stephen Covey, in his immortal work, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and obviously this is a later version of that same book, says this: I have come to believe that humility is the mother of all virtues. Humility says we are not in control. Principles are in control. Therefore, we submit ourselves to principles, not our values. Finally, Jim Collins, in his book Good to Great, which is an outstanding work, I really highly recommend that you get a copy and read it if you don't have one already. And it's a research work that chronicles how certain companies were able to make the leap from goodness to greatness. What he says in the intro is this: we were shocked really, to discover the type of leadership required for turning a good company into a great one. Compared to high-profile leaders with big personalities who make headlines and become celebrities, the good to great leaders seem to have come from Mars. Self-effacing, quiet, reserved, even shy, these leaders are, and I love this, a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional will. They are more like Lincoln or Socrates than Patton or Caesar. Pretty interesting perspective. Where the stats for humility are concerned, leaders and followers are pretty much in alignment. You can see that the leader's mean was 6.0, the followers was 5.94, and the overall mean was 5.97. F was insignificant, the means were not statistically different, and when we did the 1 to 3 rankings, leaders ranked humility number 9, and followers ranked at number 8. So pretty close together from a statistical perspective on this particular attribute. For this week's anecdote, we're going to do something a little bit different. Sometimes you can get snippets of leadership wisdom from the oddest places. I have a home gym upstairs, a lot of weights, elliptical trainer, a few other things. I spend a fair amount of time up there. I also have a big TV that I keep on in the background for noise or just for entertainment to listen between sets or what have you. Every once in a while, programs or movies will come on that I've heard before. And in this one case, I was up there working out and a movie came on that I'd seen numerous times before, a movie I really like. And this time I gleaned a little piece of leadership wisdom out of it that I had not been listening to before. The movie is called The Core. It's from 2003. And if you're not familiar, the Earth has stopped turning, magnetic anomalies are being created, and a brave group of scientists and engineers are going to have to descend into the Earth, down to the core, detonate some thermonuclear weapons, and get the core turning again and save the world. Pretty standard disaster pick fare. But here we find, in the middle of a movie, stupid, entertaining movie, a little bit of a leadership genius. So I'll set the scene up for you. What you're about to see is a simulator of this special ship that's going to go to the center of the Earth. In the captain's seat of it is a Hilary Swank, who plays a character by the name of Rebecca Childs. And she's this genius space shuttle pilot. In an early scene in the movie, the shuttle was about to crash, and she finds a way to give him a course that's going to save the shuttle. which is alluded to in the scene I'm about to show you. The commander of the shuttle is played by Bruce Greenwood, Commander Iverson. So she's in the simulator, flying the shuttle, and she crashes it, and I'll let the clip speak for itself after that.
Crashing one ship isn't enough for you?
Hey, practice makes perfect.
You practice all you like doesn't mean you're ready to sit in that seat.
So you keep reminding me, sir.
You know, I doubt you're even gonna listen to this, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Being a leader isn't about ability. It's about responsibility.
Got it, sir.
No, you don't, Beck. I mean, you're not just responsible for making good decisions, you have to be responsible for the bad ones. You gotta be ready to make the shitty call.
What makes you think I'm not?
Because you're so good. You haven't hit anything you couldn't beat. I mean, hell, you were the one who figured out how to save the shuttle. You made the rest of NASA just look like an ass. It's just that you're used to winning. And you're not really a leader until you've lost.
So you can't really be a leader until you've lost. I would echo that saying. All true leaders who have a sense of humility have screwed up. They've lost. They've made bad decisions and had to live with the consequences. They've got the scars from some of those decisions. And that's what helps bring them that sense of humility that makes them real to their subordinates. All the leaders I have met who are truly good at what they do aren't afraid to admit their failures, aren't afraid to admit their mistakes, and share them as teaching points or share them as life lessons to the people who follow them. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Leadership Trait Series. Please come back next week when we'll have another episode uploaded. And as always, if you hit the subscribe button down there at the bottom, you'll never miss an episode because you'll get an alert. Also, if you'd like to read more about humility as well as the other leadership attributes we covered, you can order or buy this book that's displayed here to my right. That book, all the proceeds from it are donated to the NBAA Leadership Conference Scholarship Fund, so the money does good within the industry. And the stories about humility as well as the other virtues are very rich, and they put a nice human spin on what it can be sometimes an academic concept. So until next week, stay healthy, stay safe, stay employed if you can, and in the meantime, tailwinds.